Why narcissists lose their mind when you show indifference to them. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how a narcissist falls apart when you stop feeding them? You stop reacting to their drama. You stop caring about their constant need for attention. You stop giving them the admiration they crave. And boom! Suddenly, they don't know what to do with themselves. It's like their whole world just collapses. But here's the kicker. Your indifference is the weapon they can't fight against. Narcissists, they're like emotional vampires. They need your validation to feel alive. Without it, they're just walking zombies, lost, desperate, and utterly powerless. And today, I'm going to show you why they can't handle your indifference. Why it cuts them deeper than anything else. Why it drives them absolutely insane. You see, it's not about you rejecting them. It's about you realizing you don't need them. That's what they can't stand. The second you become indifferent, they lose their power over you. And that's when the real cracks start to show. All right, enough talk. Let's dive in. 1. The narcissist's need for narcissistic supply. Look, I'm gonna lay it out for you straight. Narcissists aren't just a little needy. They're hungry. And I'm not talking about your average feed me kind of hunger. I'm talking about a deep, insatiable, bottomless pit kind of hunger for validation. They can't function without it. They're like a car running on fumes without constant admiration and attention. They stall. And that's where you come in. You, my friend, are their supply. You're the one who feeds their ego. You're the one who tells them, hey, you're the best thing since sliced bread. You make them feel important. You make them feel special. You give them the constant affirmation they need to keep their fragile little ego intact. But the moment you stop, that's when the wheels start falling off the cart. Indifference to a narcissist is worse than a slap in the face. It's worse than telling them they're worthless. Because you know what? At least with a slap, you're acknowledging them. You're making them feel something. But your indifference? It's the silent treatment turned up to 1,000. It's like you've completely erased them from your reality. Poof, gone. Think about this. Have you ever heard of a plant that survives without water? Yeah, me neither. Narcissists? Same deal. Without you feeding them, without you offering up that constant validation, they start to wilt. And this is why they can't handle it. This is why they lose their minds. When you stop giving them what they need, they're no longer alive. They're just nothing. And for them, that's the ultimate death sentence. 2. Indifference is a mirror they can't stand. Imagine this. You've got a narcissist standing in front of you, ready to tell you how amazing they are. They're expecting you to react, maybe with awe, maybe with admiration. But when you look at them, you don't see the superhero they want you to. Instead, you're indifferent. Nothing. And that, my friend, is the worst thing you could ever do. Because to a narcissist, indifference is like holding up a mirror that doesn't reflect their grandeur. It's like they look at that mirror and see nothing but cracks, flaws, and emptiness. No applause. No, wow, you're amazing. Just silence. They can't stand it. The whole foundation of their self-worth is built on others' reactions to them. When you refuse to acknowledge them, you're showing them exactly what they fear the most, their own emptiness. And if you think they'll just shake it off, think again. They'll spin, they'll twist, they'll do anything to get that reaction out of you. Why? Because without your validation, they're nothing. You are their mirror. When it's broken, they can't see who they want to be. It's not just a rejection of them. It's a rejection of the image they've built. And that, my friend, is a shot straight to their fragile ego. 3. The fear of being forgotten. Here's the dirty secret about narcissists. Their biggest fear isn't rejection. It's not failure. It's not even being caught in a lie. It's being forgotten. Think about it. When's the last time a narcissist truly did something without expecting a standing ovation? They need to be remembered. They need to be center stage. That's their whole game, making sure they're always in the spotlight. But here's where indifference is a dagger to the heart. When you stop caring, when you stop reacting, when you turn your attention away, you make them feel like they're being erased. They can't handle that. To a narcissist, being forgotten is a slow death. It's the ultimate punishment. You see, a narcissist might put on a show for the world, but behind the scenes, they live in constant fear of fading into obscurity. They can handle hate. They can handle insults. But indifference, that's like signing their death sentence. You're telling them, you don't even matter enough for me to hate you. And trust me, nothing sends them spiraling faster than realizing they're nothing more than a shadow in your life. 4. Their power play is nullified. Narcissists are masters at manipulation. They're like chess players who are always thinking 3 steps ahead, using every little tactic to maintain control. They want to pull your strings, make you dance to their tune, and keep you hooked on their drama. But guess what happens when you stop reacting to their games? When you stop playing their little emotional tug-of-war? The game stops. You've taken their power away. You've turned the board around, and suddenly, they're the ones who are losing. Without your reaction, they've got no way to manipulate you. They can't provoke you, guilt-trip you, or throw tantrums to get you to care. And that's terrifying to them. Because let's face it, what's a narcissist without their tricks? Without their control over you? They're a house of cards waiting to collapse. The moment you stop playing their game, you win. And they know it. That's why they'll do anything to reel you back in. The problem? It's too late. Once they lose their power over you, there's nothing they can do to get it back. And trust me, nothing drives them crazier than losing control. It makes them feel small, insignificant, helpless. And that's when the mask starts slipping. 5. Indifference is a rejection of their illusion. You ever notice how a narcissist is constantly painting this picture of who they want you to think they are? They're never just Joe from down the block. No, they're the king, the queen, the genius, the untouchable one. But here's the thing. You and I both know it's all smoke and mirrors. It's a house of cards built on lies, ego, and an image that couldn't be further from the truth. And when you show indifference, you're doing something far worse than pointing out their lies. You're exposing the whole illusion. Let me break it down for you. When you refuse to play along, when you stop acting like their act is impressive, you're not just ignoring them. No, you're pulling back the curtain and showing them the empty void behind it. You're exposing the fact that the grandeur, the fake bravado, the I'm better than you attitude, it's all a show. And guess what happens when you do that? The narcissist starts to panic. They can't hold the facade together anymore. Your indifference is like pulling off their mask in front of a crowd. They're exposed, vulnerable, and everything they've worked so hard to maintain falls apart. Indifference is like shining a spotlight on their biggest secret. They're just as insecure as the rest of us, and they know you see through it. 6. They can't win you over, and that drives them insane. Narcissists are addicts, but not for drugs or alcohol. They're addicted to winning people over. They thrive on the conquest, the chase, the feeling that they've seduced you into seeing them as amazing, as perfect, as everything you could ever want. They love it. It's their drug. But here's where it gets good. When you stop reacting, when you show them you don't need to be won over, they lose their purpose. Think about it. If a narcissist can't get to you, if they can't charm you, manipulate you, or win you over with their act, they feel like they'd failed. And in their world, failing isn't an option. It's not just embarrassing, it's devastating. They don't care if you're happy or at peace. No, they want the feeling of winning you, of proving their superiority. But the moment you don't play their game, it drives them up the wall. It's like a dog chasing its tail. It never catches it, but it keeps running in circles, frustrated, exhausted, trying to grab something that's just out of reach. And that frustration, that insanity, it'll push them further over the edge than anything else, because you've shown them that they can't control you. That's a hit to their fragile ego they can't recover from. 7. Indifference exposes their insecurity. Here's the brutal truth about narcissists. Their ego is their armor. Underneath it, they're insecure as hell. They've spent their whole lives building up this armor of arrogance, self-importance, and superiority because they're terrified of being seen for who they really are. A lot of times, their grandiosity is just a mask for their deepest fears: fear of rejection, fear of being ordinary, fear of being overlooked. And when you stop reacting, when you're indifferent, you're peeling back that armor, you're exposing the raw, vulnerable person beneath. Let's be real here. Every time you give them attention, you're helping them keep that armor intact. Every time you show them admiration, you're giving them a little more confidence in that illusion of greatness. But when you pull back, that's when the cracks start showing. That's when they feel naked, exposed, and afraid. You don't even have to say anything to them. You just have to show them you're not impressed. You don't need their approval, and you don't need their game. And that, my friend, is when they lose their mind. Because nothing is more terrifying to a narcissist than being exposed for the insecure little person they are inside. And trust me, once they realize you don't care, you've already won. So here's the truth. Narcissists can't handle your indifference. Without your validation, they wither. Without your attention, they crumble. Your indifference is their worst nightmare. It exposes their insecurities, shatters their illusions, and removes their power over you. You stop playing their game, and they lose. Every single time. But remember this, they'll keep trying. They'll keep manipulating. They'll keep chasing. Why? Because deep down, they know you figured them out, and that terrifies them. Now, if this hit home for you, don't just sit there. Take control. Subscribe, like, and drop a comment. Share your thoughts. And hey, if you want more real talk like this, check out our other videos. We're just getting started. Thanks for watching. Stay strong and never give in to their games.